They said she wouldn't last the first day, that her limp made her a risk. Each move during training seemed to prove them right. She was the broken one, the oddball, who should never have tried. But when the 72-mile endurance march began, something shifted. The doubters fell behind, and the woman they called weak kept going one step at a time. At Fort Benning, dawn lit the pine trees gold as Master Sergeant Daxon called the 58 candidates to attention. Sergeant Huxworth, Freya, a compact woman with reddish hair, stepped forward. Her stance was uneven, her voice steady. Captain Thorne studied her impassively. "Welcome to selection," Daxon barked. "No exceptions? No adjustments?" The first Tessa 5-mile rune exposed her limp. She barely met the time, but stayed upright while others collapsed. "She made standards," Thorne said. "Barely," Daxon muttered. "She won't make it through the week." Freya performed adequately, but never excelled. Her pull-ups, shooting, and tactics were solid, yet movement always slowed her. Night she heard laughter through the thin barracks wall, affirmative actions getting desperate. "I give her till morning PT." She ignored it, applied cream to the scarred tissue on her thigh, and prepared for the next day. She never failed an obstacle, but finished near last. Sergeant Braddock handed her the heaviest pack to even the field. She accepted silently. When she slipped on the rope climb, the men laughed. She climbed against lower but relentless. During land nav she was left alone, yet she found every checkpoint with efficient, energy-saving routes. "Military intel?" Zane asked. "Combat search and rescue," she replied. A storm struck during night field exercises, while others shivered in crude shelters. Freya built a dry, insulated one. Zane noticed her skill. "Where'd you learn this?" "Survival school, with modifications." By week's end, 42 candidates remained. Freya still met every mark. Thorne, reviewing her file, found redacted pages commendations in Afghanistan, multiple surgeries at Walter Reed, and a Silver Star never awarded. He phoned an old contact. Freya Huxworth records blacked out. "Got a limp."
Silence? Then you'll want to know who she really is?
Weak to cut the class to 31. Freya's limp worsened. But her resolve didn't. "She's good at tactics," Zane said. "Won't finish the crucible," Daxon replied. Thorne later received a classified report. Catastrophic femoral fracture, nerve damage, recommended medical release. That night Freya packed for the final test, the 72-mile crucible march, taping her feet and balancing. Her ruck with methodical care. Memories flashed, doctors saying she'd never walk normally again. She pushed the thought away. At 0400 hours, 31 candidates lined up in the dark, 80-pound packs on their backs. Thorne briefed them. 72 hours, 9 checkpoints. Miss one, you're out. Freya stood still, saving energy. "Your time starts now." The formation vanished into the woods. Freya's rhythm was slow, but steady. At mile 8, a candidate collapsed. Medics took him away. Calloway sneered. "Didn't think you'd last this long." She kept walking. By mile 15, the hills began. Others strained. Freya's pace never changed. She passed a struggling man, handed him an electrolyte tab, and moved on. Rain moved in by mile 22. At checkpoint 3, Thorne asked, "You holding up? Moving steady, sir?" She refused to rest, refilled water, ate, and left. The storm worsened. The trail turned to mud. By hour 30, only 12 remained. "Huxworth's in 5th, a medic reported. Thorne Frownshay was advancing. By mile 50, only 9 candidates were left. Lieutenant Mercer led, but fatigue narrowed his gap. At checkpoint 8, Zane expected Mercer first, but 2 headlamps appeared together. The smaller one's uneven gait was unmistakable. "Sergeant Huxworth," he said in disbelief. Mercer's face showed shock at how close she was. Freya handed her card for verification, silent and focused. "Where'd you learn that navigation?" Zane asked. "Combat search and rescue," she replied. Memory flickered in his mind. A rescue mission years ago, but she was already gone, climbing toward the ridge. The final stretch was brutal. A 2,000-foot ascent, then a steep descent. Mercer staggered, legs trembling, and collapsed from dehydration. Freya reached him, checked his pulse, and stabilized him. "Medics are coming," she said calmly. Zane arrived with the medical team. He saw blood running down her leg. "You need that treated. I'll be fine." The medic cut open the fabric and froze metal pins, scar tissue, grafted flesh. Freya's leg bore the marks of catastrophic injury. "Were you at Firebase Elysium?" Zane asked softly. Her eyes flicked toward him. "That's classified." Recognition hit him, the rescue that saved his life. Medic finished bandaging. "You're cleared to continue." Freya adjusted her pack and marched on, now first and alone. Thorne's radio crackled. "Sir, I think I know who Huxworth really is." "So do I," Thorne answered. He opened her complete file. The downed helicopter, 4-mile evacuation through enemy territory, lives saved despite a shattered femur. Her silver star had been classified, her injuries deemed career-ending. Yet here she was, defying every prognosis. Hours later, a lookout called out, movement on the trail. Thorne raised binoculars. One figure emerged, limping but steady, every step deliberate. "Is that Huxworth?" someone whispered. She crossed the finish line alone, uniform soaked, face drawn, but calm. Thorne checked his watch. 63 hours. She had shattered the course record by 5 hours. "Anyone else finish?" she asked quietly. "You're the first, the only one so far," Thorne replied. She nodded once, accepted water, and tended to her gear as medics checked her vitals. Zane arrived soon after. "How? You carried me out Firebase Elysium," he said softly. "Classified mission," she reminded him, though her eyes softened. "We never knew your name," he said. "I understand." Others trickled in hours later. Calloway, once her loudest critic, came third. He stopped before her. "I owe you an apology." Freya met his eyes. "You judged me as I expected. The difference is I didn't need your approval then, and I don't now. I accept it. Learn from it." He nodded with genuine respect. At the graduation ceremony a week later, only 8 stood in formation. Captain Thorne addressed them. 3 years ago, Sergeant Huxworth was told she'd never walk again. Medical boards ruled her unfit for duty. They were wrong. Paused, holding her Silver Star citation, now declassified. For gallantry, above and beyond the call of duty during the Firebase Elysium rescue, she saved 4 lives despite catastrophic injury. Silence filled the field as the story sank in. Those who'd mocked her limp now stood humbled. Realizing her scars weren't weakness, they were proof of strength. After the ceremony, Zane introduced Freya to his family. "This is the woman who carried me home when I couldn't walk." His wife hugged Freya. "Thank you," she whispered. Freya smiled awkwardly. "You'd have done the same." Months later, she boarded a helicopter with her new rescue unit graduates who had earned their place. Her limp remained, a mark of survival, but no one mentioned it. They all bore scars of their own. As the aircraft lifted toward distant mountains, sunlight glinted off her helmet where her call sign was stenciled, Iron Will. The nickname once mocked her limp. Now it honored her spirit, the refusal to quit when every step hurt. She looked out over the rising dawn, ready for whatever came next. The journey had never been about proving others wrong, but proving to herself that limits exist only for those who accept them.